Is it Thursday already? Wait, is today Thursday? Yeah, it's Thursday. Is it Thursday already? Wow. What a strange week it's been for Star Wars content. That is the understatement of the century right now, as the last couple weeks for Star Wars have been quite entertaining. We got the announcement, of course, the Mando movie and the Ahsoka Season 2. But this week started off the week with the Rey movie possibly being canceled, but we might have to clear those things up. But is the Mando movie that was announced last week going in production already? We got some news about that as well. So let's dive into all of this. How is everybody doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? What's up, chat? How we doing? We got a lot to talk about today. This is going to be a fun stream. The possible Mando movie could be going into production very, very soon, as some people online have been posting on social medias some stuff they probably shouldn't and might be teasing up some crazy possibilities that pre-production for this Mando movie could be going into production, or pre-production could be starting, I should say, very, very soon. And that means a lot sooner than we once anticipated. This movie is most likely going to fit the release date of May 22nd, 2026. And the next release date for a Star Wars movie is December of 2026. But does that mean that December of 2026 will be the Rey movie? We'll talk about that too as well. We also got some kind of weirder news as well today with a possible very big, like, superstar actress now has just come out and said that she was up for the role of Leia in A New Hope. And if she was cast as Leia, it would have changed the entire story, because at the time she was only 14 years old, and it would have changed the entire story of Star Wars as we know it. So we'll talk about all this crazy stuff today. So smash a freaking like on this stream, of course. And how we doing today, chat? Let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat so I can pull this up here. Zap, what's up? Maggie, how we doing? Dr. Ratty Ross. Dustin, of course, Mr. Kennedy. Rem, what's up? And Johnny. Oh, is that, wait, what? Who's Johnny? Says howdy. All right, how's it going, guys? Yes, I would love a Mandoverse trilogy, Dustin. Me too. All right, we'll talk about all that stuff. Zach Attack, what's up? All right, we'll talk about all that stuff as well. But let's start off with this. Billy, yes, thank you. Jesus, I knew it was somebody that I know that they changed their names, and you changed it right back, so perfect. Let's talk about why I think the Mandalorian movie is going into pre-production very, very soon. All right, first of all, let's start up a poll. Thanks, Billy, I appreciate that. Are you excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Yes or no? You tell me. Yes or no? Fearless, what's up? I'm doing good. Ian. Michael Mouse. What does that mean? What does that mean? All right, let's dive into why I think, and why some people think, that this Mando movie is going into production very, very soon. Can I please get some likes on this stream? God damn it! We got all these people here, and we can't even get some freaking likes on the stream. You know what? I'm not going to do anything. I'm not doing anything until we get some likes on the stream. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? There we go. There's some likes. Now we're getting some likes. What have we learned nothing? Has this not been years of experience and training for nothing? All right. Let's dive into this. You guys are useless. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. Let's dive into all of this. Oops, that's not the page you wanted to see. You want to see yourselves? Wave to yourselves. Say hi. Hi. Okay. How do I join back? What do you mean, Billy? As a member? Oh, if you guys want to become a member, thanks, Billy, you just have to click on the description of this video and hit that join button. And of course, it's only 99 cents. You can find 99 cents on the floor somewhere. It's the best way to support the channel. All right, let's dive into this article coming from the Star Wars Newsnet. Oh, that's not that. What's going on today? What's wrong with this stream? Are you kidding me? Who's in charge? I think we need to restart. Thursday already. Oh my god, we got a lot of stuff to get to. What's up, guys? It's Mike, a guy who loves... Okay, I think we're on track now.
Incorrect.
Are you kidding me?
I got a bad feeling about this.
Okay, so a pinch of salt is the Mandalorian and Grogu gearing up for pre-production. Dun dun dun. Let's dive into why they think this is happening and why we think this could be happening a lot sooner than we think. Okay. A few days ago, Lucasfilm officially announced The Mandalorian and Grogu. By the way, guys, what do we think of this title? It seems to be the title. I think it's the title. Now, maybe it's still a working title, and it could change. Titles have changed over and over again when it comes to movies. Not really with Star Wars, but when it comes to other movies, titles have changed. Look at, like, the new Captain America movie. The title's changed, like, 10 times for that. But if this is the official title, if this is The Mandalorian and Grogu, are we okay with that? Is that a problem? Is that a weird title? I don't know. You guys tell me. A few days ago, Lucasfilm officially announced that The Mandalorian and Grogu, a new film directed by Jon Favreau, was to begin production in 2024. But a lot of specifics are missing. And all things considered, that's still a pretty large time window. Yeah, a whole entire year. A whole entire year. It's a pretty big window. This should be taken with a giant asterisk. But Screen Rant recently spotted 2 social media posts from people attached to Disney Plus shows that could hint at behind-the-scenes movements at Lucasfilm. First, and perhaps the least notable, is Simon, who plays Axe Woves in The Mandalorian, and who posted an Instagram selfie in his costume the day after the announcement of the Mando movie. In principle, this could mean anything from playing around with it at home to sharing his excitement for the film that was announced, which he did not mention in the post, by the way. But it could also be some sort of in-character table read or even a new costume fitting. Here's the thing. This movie was announced last week, but just because it was announced doesn't mean that it wasn't already planned. Like, they usually announce projects when they're ready to go, when they've ironed out the details. So this Mando movie might be going into production a lot sooner than we expect, because we got the announcement last week, but this could have been in the works for over 6 months. Our suspicions, like Screen Rants, were raised even further when we noticed that Maria Sandoval, who worked in the makeup department in the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian and the 3rd premiere, as well as the Book of Boba Fett, posted a picture of her luggage, teasing in the caption, "All ready to go. Where do you think I'm off to this time? Hint, there will be sand." So, Maria also replied to Simon's post and said, he's so cool. However, in the comments of her post, as spotted by Screen Rant, she liked a reply that identified with a place in Hawaii, which The Mandalorian, of course, does not use to film. So these are the 2 posts in question. This is Simon's, where he says the name's Woves, Axe Woves, a lot like James Bond. This was posted almost, I believe, the day after The Mandalorian and Grogu movie was announced. He tagged The Mandalorian, he tagged Star Wars, he tagged Lucasfilm. I think, honestly, this was probably more so an attempt for him to get in this movie. I don't know if this is implying that this movie's going into pre-production, but I do think that this is him saying, hey, guys, remember me? Axe Wolves, put me in the movie too. And it's probably a good plan on his part, because if the Mandalorians are going to be in the movie, he's probably going to be in the movie too. But this other post is more telling. This is the makeup design artist from season 1, 2, and 3 of The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. And she has these, her makeup stuff all packed up and ready to go. And her hair department says Maria Sandoval, whatever the hell her name is, hair department. So that's her job. It says all ready to go. Where do you think I'm off to this time? Hint, there will be sand. Now, they said in the comments that they might be alluding to Hawaii, but Hawaii has sand, but so does a lot of other places in the world. And when we think about The Mandalorian, you don't really think sand, unless you're thinking Tatooine, which there's a lot of sand. So Tatooine has become a very prominent planet, some might say the main planet, of Star Wars, through The Mandalorian, through the Book of Boba Fett, all of it. You've seen Tatooine. So it's possible that she is referring to Tatooine in this instance because we assume that Boba Fett's going to be heavily involved in the Mando movie, and Cobb Vanth probably, and the other characters like Chrysanthemum and Fennec Shand and all those other people that are still on Tatooine. So if Din Djarin and Grogu need help to try and take down Thrawn or whatever's going to happen in this movie, we don't know. But he'll probably go to Tatooine. Also, we don't really know of any other job that this lady's working on. So these are the only real two pieces of evidence, but this article does go on, so let's keep on reading. So 2 seemingly innocent social media posts that combined are enough to at least raise our eyebrows. Think that neither of these people will necessarily be involved in the new movie, although Axe Wolves is probably going to be there, considering where things wrapped up in season 3. But even assuming all of this is hinting at something, it doesn't mean that they are gearing up for a shoot soon. However, given the timing of the announcement and the fact that Pedro Pascal could have an opening in his schedule during the summer, whether or not he'll be needed, we don't really know, but he might make himself available or at least go say hi. It seems like the spring-summer shoot could be in the cards, which means the starting of pre-production around February is not far-fetched. Again, a pinch of salt. So take it with a giant grain of salt, like I always like to say, as it seems like if this movie is going to begin filming, meaning actors in costume on set in spring into summer, meaning May, June, July, August. If that's when this is going to start filming, then pre-production is going to have to start very soon. Very soon, as in like the next couple weeks, very soon, because you have to build sets, you have to create costumes, you have to do all this stuff pre-shoot, pre-filming anything that has to be done first. And the first person that'll probably be on the scenes is the makeup and hair and costume designer, Maria, whatever the hell her name is. So, again, I think Axe Wolves, this guy Simon, is just trying to fish for another role in the Mandoverse era, which is smart. But this lady seems to be on her way to go start some pre-production on possibly the Mando movie. So it is maybe a little bit far-fetched, but the two kind of line up together. And if this movie is going to begin filming this summer, pre-production is going to need to start very, 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 very soon, because these processes of creating sets and costumes take a long, long time. It's not an overnight task. So it's going to take them a while to get into pre-production first. So that's very interesting. Another question that has been circulating on social media is that will be shooting next The Mandalorian or the 4th season of the TV series, or perhaps both simultaneously. I still think that this 4th season is non-existent. I think the 4th season is still being turned into this movie, and I think this is a whole lot of hoopla. We have a few reasons to believe that the series is at least going to be put on hold for now, even despite Deadline's throwaway line of the 4th season still being in development at Lucasfilm. Yeah. For starters, that could have been just based off of last year's reports that it was ready to go into production in October and not have been updated recently. Then there's The Hollywood Reporter casting doubt on whether the 4th season will even happen. In a newsletter published a few days ago after the announcement, there's also the old applying logic to the situation. If season 4 was not only in the works but ready to shoot this year, that bit of information would have made its way to StarWars.com's announcement, which did find space to include Ahsoka season 2 is in development, and reminded all of us that all 3 Star Wars films are remaining in the oven at Lucasfilm. So with the announcement of the Mando movie last week, we did get the announcement that Ahsoka Season 2 is confirmed, and that all 3 movies that were announced at Star Wars Celebration are still in the works. So, They didn't say that Mando Season 4 is in the works. They didn't say any of that. The Mandalorian Season 4, if we use our brains, if we apply logic, common sense things, ladies and gentlemen, the Mandalorian Season 4 has been turned into the Mando movie. There will be no Season 4, and it will be the movie. Makes the most sense. It's what's going on here. And again, if the Mandalorian... Let's go full screen for this. If the Mandalorian Season 4 was done being written by the time of the Mandalorian Season 3's release, which Jon Favreau did confirm many times himself early last year, the Mandalorian Season 4 was already done being written over a year ago. If that's the case, and they were going to go into production in September of last year, but due to the strikes they had to delay that, that means that this show is, movie I should say, now movie, is ready to go. Just because it got turned in from Season 4 into a movie does not mean that the script isn't ready to go, does not mean that everything else is ready to go. The story's there, everything else is there. They just have to get into production. And pre-production starts the whole thing off. So if this movie is on track to start filming in May or June or even July or August, pre-production has to start very, very soon as possibly February, which, guys, it's January 18th. So that's right around the corner. February is literally in a few weeks. So it's possible that pre-production of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is right around the corner, and that means a ton of awesome stuff for Star Wars fandom, because we could get leaked photos of the set, we could get leaked characters that will be in the movie. There's a lot of leaks of plots and stuff that come out of movie sets that are so damn cool, and I can't wait to cover it. Finally, for the first time ever since I created this channel, we will have a Star Wars movie in production, and it will be amazing. Amazing. But, with that being said, we talked about the Rey movie being delayed indefinitely on Tuesday. When will the Rey movie come out? Now, before we get into that, let's see what you guys are talking about when it comes to this Mando and Grogu movie. Do you guys like the title? Do you guys think it's going into pre-production anytime soon? What do we think? Let's see. Where were we? Tony says, Jon Favreau has a lot of movie experience. It would be easy for him to get a head start, but it seems he must have had some advanced knowledge before the announcement to the general public. Yeah, they wouldn't announce a movie like The Mandalorian and announce that Jon Favreau is directing it if Jon Favreau, of course, didn't know this beforehand. I think he's probably known for a few months now, and of course, they always wait to announce it publicly. Like, for example, they've done it different ways many different times. They've either announced a project too soon and then it gets canceled. For example, the Taika Waititi movie, the Patty Jenkins movie, and many others. Rangers of the New Republic, of course, for shows. Or they announce it almost like right before, or not right before, but you know what I mean, very soon before it comes out. For example, all the sequel trilogy movies. Those movies were announced, like the trilogy was announced, but the titles and the teaser trailers weren't announced till the Star Wars Celebration beforehand. So, in preparation for the movie, although the title was already confirmed and set in stone for months and months in advance, they didn't announce it to the public until the trailer released. So, that's probably the same thing that was going on. They probably had the Mandalorian and Grogu movie in their back pockets, waiting for the perfect time to announce it, and then once that whole Charmin thing took off, the whole negativity on the Star Wars fandom rising, they were like, let's give some good news. The Mandalorian Grogu has been turned into a movie, and guess what? Jon Favreau is going to be directing, and guess what? Dave Filoni is going to be helping out. And then all the Star Wars fans were like,
this is where the fun begins.
I mean, it's not that hard to please a lot of Star Wars fans when you have an announcement like that in your back pocket. So, yeah. Dustin Kennedy, what's up, Dustin, says, Grogu is the future of Star Wars. I certainly think he is. A lot of fans actually seem to be getting sick of him, which I just don't get. He's so damn cute. And, of course, if you look down, he's on your shirt right now, or on your socks, or on your pants, or on your underwear. or on your headband, or on your glasses, or where else could Grogu be? On your watch, or on your carpet, or on your ceiling. I don't know. Where's Grogu? Is Grogu even in my background? I don't think Grogu's in my background once. We can change that. There we go. Much better. Billy says, I'll join back in a bit, but I can't right now. Don't worry about it, Billy. I appreciate it. Zach Attack says, the title better change. I don't know. What do you guys think about The Mandalorian and Grogu as a title? Should we pull that up? Because it seems like 100% of you guys are excited for this movie, and that's how I thought that poll was going to go, and I'm happy that it is how that poll went. But let's pull up the title of this movie. Do you like the title The Mandalorian and Grogu? Yes or no? You tell me. Keep it nice and simple. Honestly, the more and more I say it, and the more I've talked about it on live streams over the last 2 weeks-ish, it's grown on me a little bit. I don't particularly like it, but it definitely has grown on me quite a bit. I think it should have a change, as 75% of you guys right off the bat think that it should have a change. 80%, I should say. But as of right now, it seems like that will be the title of the movie. And again, the same reason I said before, in every article, it's saying that it's the title of the movie. In even the Star Wars article, it was in italics when nothing else was except for titles like Ahsoka and whatever else was in italics in that article. But it seems like they announced it as a title for the movie, which is a little bit strange. But I'd love to see what you guys think about that. Zap says, all the movies have had working titles. Blue Harvest was The Force Awakens, I think, or something like that. I think the Blue Harvest one, maybe you're right. I forget. But yeah, something along those lines, for sure. But yeah, they've had working titles, but those are more so titles when they go into production that fans don't know what they're working on. Blue Harvest was the title of that movie because they didn't want fans to know that the next Star Wars movie was going into production somewhere. So they gave it a code name. This is a little bit different. The Mandalorian and Grogu is not a code name by any means necessary. It could be the actual title. Oh! Og MC! Welcome to the people who love Star Wars! Og MC, I really do appreciate that. That is very, very generous. Became a member of the people who love Star Wars at the knight position. I do appreciate that a whole lot. You have been knighted to the people who love Star Wars. I appreciate that, Og MC. I really, really do. That just made my whole entire week. All right. Where was I? Thanks a lot, Og MC. You made me lose my spot in the chat. Just kidding. Much love. All right. John Group says, would you rather an unimaginative title? I mean, here's the thing. I think that John and Dave can come up with a better title than The Mandalorian and Grogu. That's my only thing. Fearless says, the title should change, please. Yeah, it seems like a lot of you don't like this title. Actually, it's gone down to 62%. The poll has been evening off. Zap says, that is a puzzling working title. If it is one, though. What do you mean it's puzzling? It's not puzzling at all. Straight to the point. Fearless says, they sure weren't lazy during the strikes. Well, it's hard to tell if they did a lot of this work during the strikes, because we know that Jon Favreau already wrote this 4th season for Mando, and it probably wasn't that hard to go from a whole season of a show and dwindle it down to only 2 to 3 hours of a movie. So he probably didn't have that much difficulty doing that, especially with his background in directing movies, from Iron Man to The Jungle Book to The Lion King, I think he did as well, to, of course, Elf, probably the greatest Christmas movie ever, fight me. So yeah, he has a lot of experience directing. That's for sure. So I doubt it wasn't that hard. And I'm sure he didn't do any of the work in the strikes because they were very, very, very strict about that stuff. It's me. What's up? It's me. He says, where do you see Star Wars in the next 5 years? Wow, that's a great question. Where do I see Star Wars in 5 years? Well, 5 years would take us to the year 2029. Wow. So 2029. I think in 2029 we will be in the midst of a Mandalorian trilogy in between episodes 2 and 3. Because I think we'll see episode 1 in 2026, 2 in 28, and 3 in 30. 2030 sounds so fake. 2029 sounds so fake. 2028 sounds so fake. 2027 sounds so fake. 2026 sounds like a reality. But yeah, I think we'll be in the midst of a Mando trilogy. I think we'll still be getting Disney Plus shows. I think we'll probably have moved to some other era on Disney Plus for some sorts of shows. Probably some High Republic shows with the Acolyte, maybe in season 2 or 3 or something like that. Probably, hopefully, getting some announcements that we're going to be going into the Old Republic soon. I don't think the Old Republic is coming anytime soon, but I think maybe in 5 years it will be right around the corner. So I think we'll get some High Republic. We'll go to the Dawn of the Jedi, of course, so we'll get some of that. That'll have already come out by then. And yeah, I think we'll be in probably the best spot. Here's the thing. I think we'll have all the hype from the sequel trilogy that was there will be back in 5 years. Because I think everything will go back to normal after the whole fandom kind of settles down about the sequel trilogy. Hopefully the Rey movie pleases a lot of fans. It could go one of two ways, I guess. It could go this way, where the Rey movie pleases a lot of fans. It helps a lot of people get over the fact that the sequel trilogy was so divisive. And maybe even other stuff like an animated Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show could help more develop the sequel trilogy and fill all those plot holes that fans don't really like that much. That's an understatement. And we could all be in a better place in 5 years with the Star Wars fandom. Or it could go the exact opposite way. It could be more divisive than ever. The Star Wars fandom could be like an abomination, like just fights everywhere, fights breaking out in the streets over Star Wars. Like we could get real bad real quick if the Rey movie sucks, if the Mandoverse trilogy doesn't live up to the hype. Like shit could go downhill real fast. And not only that, in 5 years, if it does go that direction, you could see either Disney itself being bought out by like Apple or something, or you could be seeing Disney selling Star Wars, which would be insane. Yeah. So it could go, I guess, one of two ways. I'm hoping for the more positive route in the Star Wars fandom being a lot more close-knit and back to the hype that we were at before. And of course, if the Mandoverse trilogy does go the way I think in the third movie of the trilogy comes out in 2030, then I really hope the hype for that movie is really, really high. Yeah, for sure. Good question, though. Ian says, no more Tatooine. Ooh, interesting. Why not? You guys sick of Tatooine? I get it. We got a lot of Tatooine. It's in The Mandalorian Season 1. It's in The Mandalorian Season 2. It's in the Book of Boba Fett the entire season. It's in the Kenobi show the entire season almost. Or actually it's not. That's at the beginning and the end. It's in a lot of it. It's in The Mandalorian Season 3, right? Wait, no, it's not. Is it? No. 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 No, it's only in the Book of Boba Fett. It's not in The Mandalorian Season 3. It's in, of course, The Rise of Skywalker. It's in a lot of recent Star Wars projects. So, yes, I get the whole being sick of Tatooine, but Tatooine is a very important planet. We'll put it that way. So if the Mandoverse is going to continue, and Boba Fett's going to be involved, and Cobb Vanth's going to be involved, then Tatooine needs to be involved. Yeah. John Groom says, did they say that Ahsoka Season 2 is already in production? No. Actually, I don't know. Let's look it up. I forget what they specifically said. Hang on. StarWars.com. They said, here we go. This is what they said. Mandalorian Grogu journey begins. Dave Filoni, who is also currently developing Ahsoka Season 2. So that probably means he's writing it and developing it. That does not mean it's in production. I think Ahsoka Season 2 will probably go into production at the end of this year, I would guess. I think Dave Filoni is going to be working heavily on the Mando and Grogu movie with Jon Favreau. So I think that the two of them will be working together. And then once he's done with that, then Dave Filoni will go into production of the Ahsoka show. So I think Ahsoka will probably film at the end of this year, go into post-production into next year, and then come out by the end of next year. So about a year cycle, it'll come out at the end of 2025. That's where I see Ahsoka Season 2. And also the end of 2025, Ahsoka Season 2 will lead us right into the Mando movie in May of 2026. So just like 5 months later, it'll lead us right into that movie. Yeah. Tony says, seems actors/staff for the movie appear to be traveling to the production sites, which to me means not the volume. Well, they've already talked about this a little bit when it came to, I believe, Mando Season 4. When did we talk about this when they were talking about going to London to film? Was it Mando Season 4 that they were going to go film that? Or was it the Rey movie? There was somewhere where they were going to go film in London instead of where they usually film in California with the volume. I think they, especially for the movie, will go away from the volume and do more practical sets. Andor does more practical sets. I think you'll see less volume when it comes to movies just because they have the budget to go bigger. So, yeah. Zach Attack says, this is the problem. What are we going to do? This is the problem. What they're going to do, what they're doing. But I heard, wait, what? This is probably not a problem. This is probably what they're going to do. But I heard somewhere they're releasing 6 episodes of the 4th season, with the film acting like a final 2 episodes of the series. So they'd be filming both together. Yeah, Zach, we did talk about that, I think on last Saturday's stream, something like that. I don't like that idea at all. If you're going to do 6 episodes of season 4 and then a movie, that means you have to have everybody go watch 6 episodes of a season before they go to the movies, which is not going to go over well because a lot of normie fans only watch the movies or they don't have enough time to go and watch 6 episodes of a show. That'll be just a disaster. They won't make nearly as much money. They'll miss out so much in the box office, and they won't set us up for a trilogy. This is supposed to start us off on a Mandoverse trilogy to introduce Thrawn to the galaxy, set him up as a big villain, and then in the second one, continue to set him up as a big villain, have the good guys lose, and then the third one come in and Thrawn dies eventually. But you have to set this up very, very well. And if the first movie back into theaters since 2019's Rise of Skywalker is a finale to a season, it's not going to go over well. That would just be a dumb decision. Really, really dumb decision. So I hope that's not what they do. Yeah. Fearless says, officially from Disney, the Rey movie is not delayed. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a minute here. But by definition, the Ahsoka show, the Rey movie is delayed indefinitely, because delayed means that it used to be one place and then it got delayed to a different place. It used to be the first Star Wars movie to be released on May 22nd of 2026, and now it's no longer that. That is the Mando movie, so it's been delayed. And indefinitely means that it doesn't have a release date. It's delayed until some undefined time, which is indefinitely, and that's what it is. So technically, these reports of the Rey movie being delayed indefinitely were technically correct. The people who were saying, oh, it's canceled, this Rey movie's gone, it's canceled, yeah, woo! No, that's wrong. That's very, very wrong. There's a lot of YouTubers going around clickbaiting people, putting canceled, the Rey movie's been canceled, all this stuff. It's wrong. Don't listen to any of that. It is still happening. The Rey movie will still happen. It just might be a little bit longer. They might need a little bit more time to work on it because of Stephen Knight and having the Peaky Blinders movie and all that other stuff. So we'll get into that in just a minute here, but let's keep talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu. Tony says, how about for a title, Tales of Grogu and the Mandalorian? Well, that's pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. The title is kind of Groguing on me. Billy says, Blue Harvest was A New Hope. I think Blue Harvest was actually Empire, because A New Hope didn't need a code name because nobody knew what Star Wars was. But when Empire came around, it was like the biggest sequel ever because Star Wars was so huge that it was Blue Harvest. I think you're right, Billy. It was Empire. Maggie says, I'm confused. What happened? Okay. What? Where did I lose you, Maggie? Why are you confused? Og says, no problem. Thanks for the awesome content. Well, I appreciate that, Og. I really, really do. Thanks for becoming a member. Zach Attack says, it'd be cheesy as hell, but what if the film is called This Is the Way, a Star Wars story? Yeah, no, I don't think so. Well, for two reasons. Yes, that would be cheesy as hell. And because I don't think they're going to go a Star Wars story route. I don't think they're going to keep the Star Wars story as a thing after Solo happened. Yeah. Zap says, exactly, it seems like that is the title, and that's why I said it was puzzling, due to the fact that it seems like they've made up their minds, since it's a simple title for the normie fans to understand. It is a simple title, for sure. And for normal people who didn't watch The Mandalorian, won't really be confused, because they'll be like, oh, okay, The Mandalorian Grogu, got it, boom. And it gets straight to the point. It's telling you that Din Djarin and the cutest, most popular character in Star Wars right now, in Grogu, will be in the movie as well. And wow, this poll has changed right around, as now it's only 53% of you guys saying no, you don't like this title, and that means 47% of you guys do like the title. So that's almost 50-50. That's kind of crazy. That turned around real quick. Yeah. Zap says, the only easier title would be The Mandalorian and Baby Yoda for the normal people. Yeah, they still call him Baby Yoda, and it pisses me right off. John Mitchell, what's up, says, I'm back. Nice. He says, I wanted the Mando Grogu movie to be a feel-good movie like A New Hope was back in 1977, where you felt amazing and happy walking out of the theaters, like Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, I want something like that too. It has to do that, be a feel-good, awesome, cool action-adventure movie, but also it has to set up Thrawn. It has to set up Thrawn in a big, big way, because Thrawn needs to be the next villain. He needs to be at Palpatine Vader level, and that's really, really hard to do. It's hard to replicate. So, yeah, I agree. Tony says, the announcement is that Jon Favreau's movie did the job of getting fans excited again after a very long drought. Yeah, it did a fantastic job of getting people excited. 100%. Yes, for sure. Og MC says, Mandalorian and Grogu is going to cool 150. It's going to get a cool $150 million at the box office if we get 6 episodes that leads into the movie. Yeah. It will have a lot less money make a lot less money if it is 6 episodes before it. It makes no sense at all. No sense to do that. So I think this is probably a multi-billion-dollar box office success if they do this correctly. If they market it correctly, if they give us the film that we want and desire. Think about how many people still went to go see Rise of Skywalker after what happened with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Like, The Last Jedi completely divided the Star Wars fandom. Fans were swearing off of Star Wars, and yet The Rise of Skywalker still made over $1 billion. And the critics hated it. It got like a 50 on Rotten Tomatoes. So there was really nothing pulling people to the theaters except for the fact that it is Star Wars, and Star Wars fans freaking love Star Wars. So if the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is not even, like, good but great, then it's not going to make a good amount of money. It's not going to make $1 billion. It's going to make $3 billion. And I know no other movie has ever made $3 billion, but this will be the first. Star Wars is still such a massive fandom. It's bigger than any other fan base in the world. So the fact that Avatar and Avengers are pulling in this massive $2 billion plus box office explosions, like the most money made by any movie ever, Star Wars can do 10 times that, or maybe not 10 times. Star Wars can do a lot more than that because the fandom that it already has. Avengers was a very good run. The lead up to it was incredible, but there's nothing that beats the Star Wars fandom. It's 50 years of Star Wars fans almost. So, yeah. If the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is good, it will make billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. Yeah. Andrew, what's up? Zach says, I agree that a season 4 in a movie connection isn't good. But it's Disney. They've done this with Marvel. I imagine they'll do it with Star Wars as well. I hope it's a trilogy, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, they have done it with Marvel for sure, where you have to go watch the Disney Plus shows to understand what's going on anywhere else. And that's a problem. But hopefully they see the mistakes over at Marvel and try to not replicate them at Lucasfilm. Billy says, Blue Harvest wasn't a code name. It's what it was supposed to be called. Well, it was a code name so that people didn't know that they were working on Star Wars. Yeah. John Mitchell says, can people shut the hell up about the Mandalorian Grogu title? I don't see the problem. It's the two fucking main characters. John, that is so spot on. You tell him. You tell him.
This is where the fun begins.
Oh my God. Ugh. If you guys missed that, he said, can people shut the hell up about the Mandalorian and Grogu title? I don't see the problem. It's the fucking two main characters. That's so funny. Okay, where was I? Friggin says, hello there. What's up, Friggins? John says, will we have a trailer for The Acolyte by April? Oh, by April, I hope so. But I don't know. Hopefully we'll get a Bad Batch trailer soon. Have you seen is anybody on X, formerly known as Twitter? Because it was going crazy yesterday because people were begging for a Bad Batch trailer. We were like, can we just will Star Wars to give us a Bad Batch trailer? And it didn't work, but we tried. OgMC says, where do you think the Lando movie fits into all this? That's a good question. The Lando movie, I think, is very far off. You're going to get the Mando movie. You're going to get Dave Filoni's Mando movie. You're going to get the Rey movie. You're going to get the Dawn of the Jedi movie. All four before the Lando movie at least. And I don't even think the Lando movie is next after that. So it could be a long, long time till we see Lando. Yeah. Maggie says, it was the member thing that had me confused. I don't understand what's going on. I'm sorry to confuse you. Oh, don't worry about it, Maggie. Yeah, no, so you can become a member of this channel, which pretty much just gives you access to pretty cool things like a private Discord with only members. When we do call-ins, which we're doing very soon, I promise you guys, we'll be doing call-ins very, very soon. When we do call-ins, members can call into the channel and live we can have a conversation. When we do giveaways, you have instant access to those giveaways, which one is coming up, I believe, next week for the giveaways. And you get that lightsaber next to your name like you see in some people's names in chat. Some other cool features as well. So, and there's 3 different tiers to it. You can become a member at 99 cents, $5, $10. And at $10, if you are a member at $10 for an entire year, you get a free lightsaber from me. So that's pretty cool. Just a fun little kind of initiative type thing. So that's what the whole member thing was. We got a membership song. So if you become a member, you get to hear that song. Stuff like that. Sorry to confuse you, Maggie. Andrew says, the only reason I like the title is because it's hard to think of something that's not cheesy or something else that's not cheesy. I agree. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, The Mandalorian and Grogu sounds a little stupid, but what would be better? Because when you think of other Star Wars titles like The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, The Force Awakens, they all kind of mean something towards the movie. So as far as we know, there's not much that we know about the plot of this movie, so we can't really give it a strong title that would make sense as far as right now. Maybe The Rise of Mandalore, but again, The Rise has already been taken. The Rise of something has already been taken. Could be something to do with Thrawn, and if they are going to go the route of Thrawn, why not just name it the Thrawn Legends Trilogy titles from Heir to the Empire for the first one to The Last Command, or no, Last Command's the third one? Wait, what? What are the 3 titles of the Legends Trilogy? I always forget the order. But that would mean you'd start with the Heir to the Empire. That would mean the Mandalorian and Grogu movie would be titled Heir to the Empire, which would kind of be, but we'll see. John Mitchell says, I hope Mando Season 4 is turned into a movie. Or have Mando Season 4 come out months before. I don't think Mando Season 4 is happening. I think Mando Season 4 will be the movie. The Rise of Skywalker has a 86 for audience score and a low critic score. The Last Jedi has a low audience score and a high critic score. Yeah, The Rise of Skywalker actually, an 86 for critic score is not that low. It didn't get all that beat up by the audience, actually, because I think a lot of people were very sour by the taste of The Last Jedi in their mouths, and they wanted something that completely kind of took that and threw it out the window, and that's what The Rise of Skywalker gave you. So a lot of fans kind of initially were on board with The Rise of Skywalker. But things changed since then. John says, I loved The Rise of Skywalker, and it made the sequels make sense for me. The Rise of Skywalker does a few things. It actually takes the first two movies and kind of throws them out the window and says, I'm doing my own thing. But at the same time, it also kind of explains those first two movies in a weird way. So killing off Snoke in the second movie, which was Rian Johnson's decision, and all the decisions really that Rian Johnson made in that second movie, having Rey being a nobody, having Luke being cut off from the Force and an old hermit on an island, The Rise of Skywalker had the very difficult task of finishing off the trilogy after Rian Johnson just did that. So, with that being said, there was some ways you could go about it, and bringing back Palpatine was obviously one of them. I don't think it was probably the best option, but I always say this. If Palpatine was supposed to return from the beginning, which he was not, but if he was, then it would have made more sense. If it was being teased out that Rey was a Palpatine from The Force Awakens, which it wasn't, then it would have made more sense. Now, when you look back at the sequel trilogy, from the jump, Rey's a Palpatine. From The Force Awakens, she is a Palpatine. But when The Force Awakens was released, she was not. So, it's kind of a weird situation. But I do agree that bringing Palpatine back was a good idea. I disagree with how they executed that idea. Somehow Palpatine Returns is the worst line in all of Star Wars, and it's the worst execution of bringing back a character. Palpatine does return in Legends. So the same people who are really upset about Palpatine's return in canon are the ones who really loved his return in Legends. But the reason for that is the execution. The return of Palpatine in canon is so bad, so poorly executed, but the one in Legends is not. So I think through time and through explanation, again, I bring up the Shadow of the Sith novel that I have behind me, there is ways to inject Palpatine into the story before the prequel trilogy or during the sequel trilogy that will allow the sequel trilogy, I should say, to make more sense, to allow the plot holes to kind of fill themselves, and to allow us to get some more cool Palpatine stuff from behind the scenes. Yeah. Where was I? Jason says, what are the chances that Oscar Isaac will return as Poe in the Rey movie? That's a good question. Depends on how much money they give him, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't seem like the Rey movie needs Poe Dameron. If it's going to really be the Rey creating her new Jedi Order, then it seems like they don't really need Poe. He could be a senator or running the Republic or whatever he's doing at the time, and maybe you'll get a few scenes of him, and maybe it's just a short little cameo for Poe Dameron in the movie. But I don't know. I don't know if they'll bring him back. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see. Oh, Billy! Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Oh yeah, Billy, I really do appreciate that. Billy, welcome back to the people who love Star Wars at the Padawan level. I really do appreciate that. Again, memberships are probably the best way to support the channel, and you get instant access to awesome, cool stuff. I believe the giveaway is next week, right? It's the end of the month. So at the end of every month, we do a giveaway live on stream for the members who support the channel. So, of course, now Billy and OgMC are automatically put into that giveaway. So, think about becoming a member. It's only 99 cents, the best way to support the channel, other than, of course, watching the content and smashing a like button. and commenting on videos and becoming a member. So, yeah. I appreciate that, Billy. I really, really do. All right, where was I? Jason, we were talking about Oscar Isaac. Yeah. So Oscar Isaac could come back to the character of Poe. I just don't think that it will happen. And if it does, it'll probably be a cameo. Because he's not necessary to the story like Finn is. I think Finn, John Boyega, is a must-have for this Rey movie. Oscar Isaac, not so much. OgMC says, I'm scared that The Mandalorian and Grogu could be a box office flop after the recent Disney box office flops like Indiana Jones 5 and the Marvel's movie. Am I right to be worried? Honestly, Og, you are. You're definitely right to be worried. It seems like a lot of people are worried about anything Disney that gets released, and Star Wars is really is not exempt from that discussion. They are a Disney property, and Disney properties have been done pretty poorly as of late. However, I still think when there's something good that fans can galvanize behind, it will still make money in the box office. Look at Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home came out in 2021, I believe. Or 2020, end of 2021 or end of 2022? Whatever. The Avengers Endgame came out in 2019. And since Avengers Endgame, Marvel had been on the decline, pretty badly actually, until Spider-Man No Way Home. And when Spider-Man No Way Home came out, it broke all kinds of records, especially after the Pandy. It broke all those records, but Marvel was in a decline, and they had bad project after bad project, movies not making a lot of money, like Black Widow and Eternals and all this other stuff. Shang-Chi, which was a good movie, still didn't make all that much money, but then Spider-Man No Way Home went boom, I'm going to break all these records. And maybe it was because of Toby and Andrew. Yes, of course, that had to do with a lot of it, but it was a great movie. So if you have a great movie, it doesn't matter what status your IP is at. If it's a good movie, fans are going to go watch it. Simple as that. And I think, sorry, I got distracted by the chat. I think that the Mando movie will be that success. Officer Murdoch, you distracted me. Thank you. He goes like this. By the way, if you guys send emojis, I will do my best to mimic what those emojis look like. To an extent. But he goes like this. Sorry for my stupid question, but what does it mean to be a member? Okay, so maybe I'm not doing this correctly, but I think I'm going to try to clear it up perfectly here. A member is a person who gives me 99 cents of their money, so generously, to support the channel. And it's the best way to support the channel, support me, so I can give you back to you guys. You get instant access to giveaways. You get instant access to a members-only Discord. When we were doing call-ins, which I've now decided we're doing the first ever call-in on Saturday. When we do call-ins on the channel, you can have access to that. You can be somebody who calls in and talks live on the channel with me. And you get that awesome, cool lightsaber next to your name, and some other cool features that are told to you when you become a member. At some point this year, we will be opening a shop on the channel, and you'll get a discount to that shop if you're a member as well. So, yeah, a lot of cool little fun things to support the channel. Yeah. Hope that cleared it up. If not, then I'm just speaking a different language. Where was I? John says, Star Wars is a different beast. I think people will realize how popular it is. It's in its own league compared to other franchises. I don't think it will flop if it's marketed well. I think so too. If it's a good movie, it will make money, especially as Star Wars. Yeah, exactly. And perfect. Maggie, thank you for saying this. Maggie says, I can't become a member. Sorry, I don't have any money. That is perfectly okay. Becoming a member is just a way to support the channel. Supporting the channel can also be done by watching the videos and liking the videos. Two very free actions that help the channel way more than you ever know. Hitting that like button helps so much in the back end. It's insane. It shouldn't help that much, but it does. So there's so many ways that you can help the channel for free that you don't have to become a member. So don't worry if you don't have any loot or if you don't have any money. You don't have to worry about it one bit. Just sitting here watching and hitting that like button is all I can ask. Yeah. All right. But going back to John's point, yes, Star Wars is in its own league. If it's a good Star Wars movie, it's going to make a shit ton of money. Look at Rogue One, look at The Force Awakens. It will make a ton of money. So if it's a good Star Wars movie, it will make money because Star Wars is just completely different than anything else. 100%. Zach Attack says, the Mando movie won't be a flop. People are excited and already ready for it. Yeah, I agree with that. People are already excited for it. The same way that people are already saying, I'm not going to go see the Rey movie. People are very excited for this Mando movie. Let me pull up that community tab thing that I did on the channel because it's gotten a ton of votes. Let's go to this. I posted this on the community tab. It's got over 3,000 votes. It's which movie are you most excited for coming up? The Mando movie is at 51% of 3,000 people. And the Rey movie is at 4%. So that's where that is. The James Mangold Dawn of the Jedi movie is in second place with 28%, and of course Dave Filoni is at 17%. Of course, this is the next movie, and that's probably why the most amount of people are excited for it, but that is very, very telling. Yeah, a lot of people are excited for this movie, without a doubt. OgMC says, I need that Lando movie to start filming before Billy D. Williams gets older than he already is. Donald Glover will for sure make him a part of it. Yeah, I think they'll have him involved in some sort of way, but it will mostly be Donald Glover. Yeah. John says, having the Mando Grogu movie come out first, then the Rey movie was a genius move by Lucasfilm. It will help the Rey movie out greatly. Yeah, so we sat here and talked about how stupid they were for the longest time, because they were, to have the Rey movie come out first. And to their own smartness, it's a word, look it up, they changed that, and the Mandalorian movie will come out first, and the Rey movie will not. Very, very smart. Allow the Mando movie to be a success first, and then maybe some more fans will say, maybe I'll go check out the Rey movie. Why not? Yeah. For sure. Zap says, hey, Mike, when you get enough members, will you do a monthly members show or something? Also, is it confirmed that Taika Waititi's film was canceled? I know that it's going to take forever to get made, if it does. Well, I'll answer the back half first. Taika Waititi's movie has not been canceled. We've actually been reassured many times that he's still in production on that movie, or still in the works of writing that movie. I think you won't see the Taika movie for a long time, even if you do. It will be a long, long time until then. But I do think eventually, probably in 5+ years, we will see the Taika movie, after he goes and does some other stuff first. And then the first half, will I do a members-only stream? Yes, members-only streams will become a thing as soon as we cross a certain amount of members. I think right now, I'm not too sure how many members we are at, probably around 15 or something like that. I'd like to get up to the point where we're around 25 before we start doing member streams, just so I'm not sitting there talking to myself. A member stream will talk about the back end of YouTube and what's going on in the world of Star Wars in the back end and stuff like that, stuff that I really can't talk about on stream or whatever. And exclusive stuff, of course. So those members streams will start once we hit a certain mark. I just don't want to be talking to myself because certain people are busy at certain times, stuff like that. Yeah. John says, Palpatine coming back makes sense for me because he's the villain of all three trilogies. Yes, that does make the most sense. It turns it almost pretty much into a Palpatine saga instead of a Skywalker saga, honestly, because Palpatine is the villain throughout all 9 films, which makes sense. But the way he came back in the sequel trilogy was not good. If he was the villain from the jump in episode 7, or at least if he was pulling the strings from behind the scenes in episode 7, and you could tell, but like you couldn't really tell, and then there was a massive reveal like Luke, I am your father at the end in episode 2, episode 5, I should say, then it would be something completely different, but it's not. It was never planned from the jump. Snoke was supposed to be the new villain, and that's just not how it went. Fearless says, but think about it. Rian Johnson killed off Snoke to make Kylo Ren supreme leader, meaning he thought the first storyline was still going on. He didn't know that it had changed, I guess. Well, he definitely didn't know that Palpatine was coming in episode 3. Rian Johnson did not intend for that to happen. Yeah. OgMC says, I still can't believe that Palpatine's broadcast is locked behind a Fortnite event. and still isn't in any canon Star Wars content. What? Locked behind a Fortnite event? What do you mean? Palpatine's broadcast? Oh, you mean like from the beginning of the movie? Zap says, they need to give Oscar around 2 to 4 mil for his new house, at least. Yeah, they'd have to pay him a pretty good chunk of change to come back to Star Wars for sure. But actually, I heard today, and I don't know how true it is, that's why we're not talking about it really too much today, but I heard that Daisy Ridley it's being reported that Daisy Ridley's being paid $12.5 million for the Rey movie. And that honestly doesn't sound like much to me, personally, for this lady to come back to the sequel character that got so much hate. Only $13 million? Not that much. Billy says, I can't lie. It's my birthday on January 26th. Oh, that's cool, Billy. Happy early birthday. I'll have to remember that. I will try my best to remember that. I'll actually even write it down right here. January 26th, Billy's B-Day. Boom. It's been written. John says, wouldn't Poe be old by the time of the Rey movie, 15 years after episode 9? Rey and Finn are in like their early 20s in episode 9, so they'll still be young. Yeah, they'll be in like their mid to late 30s. So Poe Dameron, I don't really know how old he is. I think he's only about, let's look it up. How old is Poe Dameron in The Rise of Skywalker? Here we go. Poe Dameron in The Rise of Skywalker. What? Doesn't just tell me. How old is Poe Dameron? He's 32, but that doesn't tell me when he's 32. Oh, he's 32 in Rise of Skywalker? Maybe he's 32 in Rise of Skywalker. So 15 years after that would make him 47. So yeah, he'd be a little bit older, but not too old. He wouldn't be like really old, you know? Yeah, no? Ian says, mimic this, and sends an eggplant emoji. I don't know how to look like an eggplant. I'm sorry, Ian. Alex says, No Way Home and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 are good examples of post-Endgame success. But a big part of the reason as to why they were a success is because of the conclusion. They were the conclusions of their trilogies. That's true. Yeah, they were the conclusions of their own trilogies. That's definitely a piece to the puzzle. But Star Wars is just so much bigger than Marvel will ever be in terms of fan base that if a Star Wars movie's good, it's going to make way more money. I got to go catch the Xbox Developer Direct in 4 minutes. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks, OgMC. Thanks for becoming a member of this stream, by the way. And I have no idea what you're talking about, but have fun. Maggie says, it's great to find a channel that's kind to new people. I'm really grateful for your patience with me. Thank you. Well, thank you, Maggie, for finding the channel. I appreciate all you guys, for newcomers, oldcomers, all you guys are the best. We try to create a very positive fandom around here, and that's the goal of the people who love Star Wars. I'm just stretching. Sometimes you just gotta, sometimes. John says, Boba Fett in the Mando Grogu movie? I think so. Yes. I mean, do you guys think so? Do you think we'll see Boba Fett in the Mando movie? I think Boba Fett has been off screen for so long, since the Book of Boba Fett, which was 2022, so over 2 years, maybe more. When did Book of Boba Fett end? At least 2 years. At least 2 years we haven't seen Boba Fett on screen, and we've seen Mando, we've seen Ahsoka, we've seen all of them, except for Boba. So I think Boba will be in the next Mando movie for sure, 100%. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was so good, and I'm not even an MCU fan. Guardians 3 is a very good standalone film. Just by itself, it's good. And that's what makes it really good. Yeah. It's okay, Ian. It's okay. Zach says, oh, you don't know the Fortnite thing? Yeah. That's where most people first learned that Sidious was returning through some Fortnite event. I didn't play it, but I heard the buzz before The Rise of Skywalker. What? Before The Rise of Skywalker released, Palpatine was in the Fortnite saying that he was coming back? That's crazy. That's crazy. That makes no sense to me, but thanks. John says, when will marketing begin for the next Star Wars series? Hopefully soon. We don't even know what it's going to be. It's possible. I think the two most likely right now are The Acolyte or The Bad Batch Season 3. I think probably the more likely of the two is The Bad Batch Season 3, but when the marketing for this show is going to start, probably with a teaser trailer, and I don't know when. I really don't. I was hoping it would be at some point in this early half of January, but we're coming up on the second half, or we're in the second half of January, and there's still no teaser trailer. I don't know. It's weird. It's very strange. I'm hoping there's a new trailer coming soon. I think they're still letting the hype fizzle out from the Mando movie announcement, and then maybe once another bad news comes around or something, they'll drop the trailer. I don't know. Hopefully it's soon. I mean, it could be as soon as next week. It could be as soon as tomorrow, but I don't know. I really don't. Yeah. The Gaming Nerd TV, what's up? Says, sup. How's it going? Fearless says, Boba has to be in the movie. I agree. I think he has to be. I think there's, like, if you're going to have Thrawn come in as this big new threat, you're going to need Boba to help Mando, but you're also going to need Fennec and Cobb Vanth and the other Mandalorians like Bo-Katan and, of course, Axe Woves, as Simon spoiled for us. Yeah. John says, I'm currently rewatching Ahsoka, and then I'm going to rewatch The Clone Wars soon, but I'm starving for a new trailer. Yeah, I'm going to actually start rewatching Ahsoka. I think tomorrow I'll probably start rewatching it. Yeah. Austin, what's up? Austin Snow says, sorry I'm late. Don't worry about it. Officer Murdoch says, I love The Bad Batch. I love The Bad Batch too. I think the first two seasons were really, really good. I still think it's missing that sort of Clone Wars charm. I can't even describe to you what it means, but I just think it's missing something. And I think Season 3 will actually give us that. I think Season 3 will have an extraordinary ending, and I'm very intrigued to see if they all line up and get their heads chopped off by Darth Vader. Very, very intrigued. So, yeah. I mean, what... Do you guys think any of the Bad Batch are going to survive the Bad Batch Season 3? Because none of them show up in anything else. Not Rebels, not nothing. I think the most likely character to survive is Omega. And I just don't even know if that's going to happen. Yeah. John Mitchell says, what are your top 5 Star Wars shows in order? Huh. It's tough because Ahsoka is the best single season, I think, personally. But I don't think that it's the best series because it's only one season. So I think it probably goes Clone Wars, then Mando, then Rebels. Or Rebels, then Mando, then Clone Wars. I would switch, yeah. Rebels, then Mando, then Clone Wars are my top 3. Then Ahsoka probably, and then maybe Book of Boba Fett as 5. Not too sure. Tony says, watch the Clone Wars first, then Rebels, then Ahsoka. You'll appreciate Ahsoka more. That's true. Yeah, I kind of want to watch them in order again. Yeah. Austin says, I have a bad feeling that they're going to do another series before Resistance. What do you mean before Resistance? Zach Attack says, it better be badass. Boba from Mando Season 2 and not the little bitch Boba from Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, I think Boba Fett will become more badass again. I think they definitely heard the complaints from the fans. And if John and Dave have told us one thing, it's that they're listening to the fans. And I think badass Boba will be back for the movie. I think, like, they've said that fans are always saying that Disney ruins everything. They say that they ruined Boba Fett as well, and I disagree with that, because Boba Fett in The Mandalorian Season 2 is so cool. He's so badass, and his entrance is awesome. It's just only when we get to the Book of Boba Fett, his own show, is when he becomes that little Beta Fett character. And, yeah, that's when it becomes a problem. So I think we'll go back to the actual badass Boba that we remember, and hopefully it stays that way. Season 2 of Boba was legit. Season 2 of Mando Boba was legit, yeah. The Gaming Nerd says, on Star Wars Day maybe we'll get the Bad Batch. That's definitely possible. They did that with Bad Batch Season 1, I think. The premiere was on May the 4th. So maybe May the 4th is that release date, but May the 4th is so long from now. It's so long from now. I mean, we're in January still, so that's February, March, April, May. That's almost 4 months. That's too far. Too far. Hopefully it's sooner than that. Fearless says, I'll finish Rebels soon, so then I have time to rewatch Ahsoka. I can't live without watching something Star Wars. I know. And we still have 4 shows this year. 4. From The Acolyte to Tales of the Jedi to Bad Batch to Skeleton Crew. So that's 4. And let's say the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew are both 8 episodes, which they most likely are. That's 16 episodes. The Bad Batch Season 3 is another 16 episodes. That's 32. And Tales is probably going to be 6 episodes. The short 6 episodes like it usually is. That's 38 episodes. 38 episodes of Star Wars content. Now, Tales is going to be all released at the same time. So that's only 1. So that would be 33 weeks of the year. There's only 52 weeks of the year. There's only 52 weeks of the year, and we're already 3 weeks in. We're running out of weeks. You have 33 weeks of Star Wars content coming this year. When is it coming? So hopefully it's coming very, very soon. And hopefully the first show kicks off very soon. Friggin says, top 5 in order. Rebels, Clone Wars, Andor, Mando, Ahsoka. Hot take. I also really enjoyed Book of Boba Fett. I think Book of Boba Fett is overhated, for sure. Just purely the Mando episodes, and I know you're going to say it's Mando season 2.5. It's still a part of the season. Just the Mando episodes alone make it a good show. But I still think the flashback stuff in the first couple episodes is good. The stuff with the Tusken Raiders, the train heist is really good. There's definitely some iffy stuff in there, and the finale's not that great, but Cad Bane in live action's awesome. And seeing the whole Luke training Grogu stuff was just peak. Peak. The sequels could have honestly really benefited from a Clone Wars style show to help explain the movies better. What would that show focus on, though? I have no idea. That's a good question. That's a good question, or a good topic to sort of touch upon. I think the same exact thing. And I think that Clone Wars show for the sequel trilogy would be a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple animated show. You'd allow us to see Leia and Han separate. You would allow us to see Luke train a new class of Jedi. You'd see Ben Solo's fall to the dark side. You get to see Snoke in the First Order's rise to power. And you'd see Palpatine pulling strings from behind the scenes, all at the same time. Just like in the Clone Wars, it would develop all those characters from Anakin to Obi-Wan to Ahsoka to Padme to Palpatine to Dooku to Yoda to Mace to everybody. They would do the same thing in this Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show, from Luke to Leia to Han to Ben Solo to Palpatine to Snoke to the First Order to General Hux to all these people. It would explore all those people within like 5 to 10 years even, not that long, 5 years even, moving in towards the sequel trilogy. Doesn't even have to be 5 years. It could be 2 years. Just the 2 years leading into the sequel trilogy. That's it. And that would kind of be it. So I think that's the perfect way to fill a lot of plot holes in the sequels and allow fans to really understand why Luke went into hiding, understand why Ben fell to the dark side, stuff like that. Yeah, I think the sequels would really benefit from that show. Yeah. Resistance had potential in premise, but the character and its characters, but it ended up fumbling the bag. Yeah, Resistance was a disaster. A disaster. I agree. The Book of Boba Fett was B tier at least, but because of the last 3 episodes. Book of Boba Fett was good. Just had some stand-out weak moments, but I really did enjoy it for the most part. I agree with that. Yeah. I can't decide if I like The Mandalorian Season 1 or Season 3 more. Season 2 is definitely the best, though. I definitely think Season 2 is the best. I think Season 1 probably edges out Season 3 just purely off of the fact that those are brand new characters, and they were just being introduced, and they just are that cool. The Gaming Nerd says, I have a friend who doesn't like the new Star Wars movies. The sequel trilogy movies? There's a lot of people who don't like those movies for sure. I completely get it. I completely understand. Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense as to why people don't like that movie. Or those movies. Alright. Watch the Patterson cut of the Book of Boba Fett. It's way better. I watched the Patterson cut of Kenobi, and it was really, really good. So I can imagine that the Book of Boba Fett one is good too. Yeah. All right, let's dive into this Rey movie news. Is it delayed indefinitely? Yes or no? Let's talk about it. What's the truth? What's the lies? All this stuff. Let's switch gears a little bit from the Mando movie to this, okay? This is coming from comicbook.com. Let's read this one first. Star Wars Disney denies Rey movie is delayed indefinitely. The force is strong with Daisy Ridley's Star Wars movie, according to IO9. Lucasfilm has denied recent reports that the Rey Skywalker movie has been delayed indefinitely after writer Stephen Knight put the project on the back burners in favor of his Peaky Blinders movie. Those rumors are
Incorrect.
And the studio is awaiting Knight's latest draft, the source says. Disney officially announced the Rey movie with director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy at Star Wars Celebration in April of last year, revealing it will be set after the events of The Rise of Skywalker and follow Rey as she builds her new Jedi Order. That now debunks claims that came after Disney and Lucasfilm last week announced the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, a new Star Wars movie that will bring Pedro Pascal's Din Djarin and his Mandalorian apprentice to the big screen with director Jon Favreau. The Mando movie will begin production this year and is further along than Dave Filoni's New Republic movie and James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi movie that were announced at Star Wars Celebration in 2023 as well. Stephen Knight, whose credits include The Girl in the Spider Web and All the Light We Cannot See, and of course, he is most known for Peaky Blinders, inherited scripting duty after original screenwriters Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson exited the project early last year. So this is what Daisy Ridley said. So I thought about it for a little bit, and once I knew what the story was and everything, I knew it was something I really wanted to do. Daisy Ridley told something, whatever, about her returning to Star Wars after 2019's Rise of Skywalker. Capped episode 9 of the Skywalker saga. I think it's a really fantastic exploration of the Star Wars world. It's a really cool way of taking the story on a bit of a different direction. This is actually pretty interesting. She said this a few weeks ago, I think, or last week. She said, I think it's a really fantastic exploration of the Star Wars world. It's a really cool way of taking the story in a bit of a different direction. Now, we don't know what she's referring to when she says this. A different direction as opposed to what? Like a different direction in terms of the sequel trilogy, I'm sure. Because the way that they brought her back was saying, we're doing something different this time. Because Daisy Ridley got a lot of shit for the production and execution of the sequel trilogy. So I don't know what that different direction she's talking about is, but it does give a lot of fans some hope. Disney has 2 reserved release dates for Star Wars movies, believed to be the Mandalorian and Grogu movie and the untitled Rey Skywalker movie. And those dates are May 22nd of 2026 and December 18th of 2026. So that brings us right to this next article that we have here. It's coming from Bespin that is teasing that this release date is pretty much set. This is coming from an insider that he has, and this is actually pretty interesting because we didn't know that when this Rey movie would get a release date. And, of course, it was delayed indefinitely, but this is where it is. So, this article is from today that says, Untitled Rey Skywalker Star Wars movie possibly releasing in December of 2026. So, this week has seen multiple reports on this untitled Rey Skywalker film that set social media abuzz. In particular, when fans could expect to see this flick hit the big screen. Now, a reliable insider has weighed in on the matter, revealing that he has heard regarding when the Daisy Ridley-led Star Wars movie will release into theaters. Earlier this week, wow, he got rid of the promotion thing. Earlier this week, there was a report from The World of Real. This is what we talked about on Tuesday. The World of Real, that claimed the Rey movie had suffered an indefinite delay, not cancellation, an indefinite delay. And the Gizmondo reported that the film had not suffered a delay. Many insiders in the Hollywood trades had reported since last year that the next Star Wars film to be released in cinemas would be the Rey film, being directed by Sharmina Bed-Chinoy. In June of last year, Lucasfilm announced 3 release dates for untitled Star Wars movies: May 22nd of 2026, December 18th of 2026 again, and December 17th of 2027. So, however, Lucasfilm did not publicly admit any of their announced Star Wars movies to any of those dates, which at the time included the aforementioned Rey film, the untitled Mandoverse crossover movie with Dave Filoni, and the Origins of the Jedi movie with James Mangold. In the film from director Taika Waititi and Sean Levy, but those two are not really involved. Reliable insider Jeff Snyder took to Twitter and his podcast, the Hot Mic Podcast, earlier this week to tease that the untitled Rey Skywalker film would release in December of 2026, but that he'd revealed more. He would reveal more later on this week. Snyder has been on the pulse of this Rey movie since the start. Snyder was the first to break that Damon Lindelof, the original writer of the film, was working on the Star Wars movie, and he was also the individual that broke that Lindelof was being let go from the project in March of last year. So, in June last June, I'm guessing, Snyder reported that the Rey movie was set to be the next Star Wars movie to be released into theaters on May 22nd of 2026, and revealed that Lucasfilm was looking to begin filming this movie in April of 2024. So this year in April, but that has changed. However, this did not come to fruition due to the writers and actors strikes going on in Hollywood. In December, 1 month before The Mandalorian and Grogu was announced, Snyder shared that the Mando movie would be the next Star Wars movie to be released. This was before the movie was even announced. So Snyder's been ahead of the game this whole time. And that brings us to now, where Jeff Snyder, via his paid newsletter, which is like a Patreon, which you can find here, and I encourage you to subscribe, has shared what he knows regarding the Daisy Ridley-led film. Snyder wrote that the film's current writer, Stephen Knight, is deep into working on the next draft, and that the film is developing at a normal pace for the studio. Snyder added that he believes that the untitled Rey movie film could land in theaters on December 18th of 2026 and will not release in May of 2026. That date has been marked for the recently announced Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which makes complete sense given that last week when the Mandalorian and Grogu movie was announced, Lucasfilm touted it would lead the theatrical release slate. So it's worth noting that Snyder isn't saying it's definite that this movie will be released on December of 2026, but as of now, he believes it is the second Star Wars movie set to release following The Mandalorian and Grogu. So we'll finish this off in just a second because there's more to get into about the Rey movie. But what do we think about that? This makes perfect sense. If the Mandalorian movie, because there is 3 set dates for Star Wars movies, untitled Star Wars movies, that's May of 2026, December 2026, and December 2027. It makes perfect sense that the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is supposed to start off the slate, will be that first release date. The Rey movie will be the second release date, and probably the James Mangold movie will be the third release date. It makes the most sense. It really just, makes the most sense. Do you guys agree? Do you think that that's what's going on here? Do you think the Rey movie will come out on December 18th, 2026? It's still crazy to me that 2026 we're getting 2 Star Wars movies. The Rey movie got delayed. Technically, yes. Geek Ledger says the delay was debunked. Yes, it was. Technically, it was delayed. It was supposed to be. It was rumored. It was never officially given a release date. So technically, it wasn't delayed. But if it was supposed to be the first one released, it was supposed to come out May 2026, and now it's been delayed to December 2026. There was a delay. There also wasn't a delay. So it's kind of like Maggie says, has a Star Wars movie or show ever come out on May the 4th? That's a good question. I don't think so. I know a lot of the original Star Wars movies used to come out in May. The original Star Wars A New Hope came out May 25th, I believe, in 1977. And then I think the rest of them came out in May as well because they were like summer blockbusters. I don't think any of them came out on May the 4th. No, I don't think so. But somebody else fact check me on that. Fact check me on that. Freaking says the Rey movie ain't happening. Yeah, it is. It's definitely happening, that's for sure. It's not going to be canceled. No way. John says, imagine seeing a banger movie in May of 2026 and then riding that hype into December for another banger movie. Well, that's the best case scenario. If both movies in 2026 are really good, that's best case scenario. We get 2 incredible Star Wars movies in the same calendar year. Nothing is better than that. Nothing will beat that. So, I hope so. Tony says, Mando 2 is called The Last Grogu, and Mando 3 is called The Rise of Grogu. I love it. The first one's called The Grogu Awakens from a nap. Geek Ledger says, oh, hey, the Indiana Jones game is about to be revealed on the Xbox Developer Direct. The trailer should be uploaded sometime within the hour. That's what he was talking about. OgMC just left to go watch that. I don't even know. So there's a developer like stream for Xbox or something? Indiana Jones game. That sounds kind of cool. That kind of sounds cool. John Mitchell says 2025 is the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith 2. That's true. I hope they re-release that into theaters. I'd love to go see that in theaters. That'd be awesome. All right, let's read the rest of this article because this is actually going to be pretty cool because this tells us what the new rumors of what Daisy Ridley's making. Away from release dates, Snyder in his newsletter shared that he had heard that Daisy Ridley is receiving a bumper payday for her return as Rey, revealing that the actress is getting paid $12.5 million for the Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy directed flick. Maybe it's a hint or maybe it isn't, but Snyder tells readers to stay tuned when pondering if a lucrative payday like what Ridley is receiving will be enough to entice other sequel stars on the project. That's true. So Daisy Ridley's supposed to be the main lead of this movie, but what if John Boyega comes in and gets paid more than this? Personally, I was hoping that the Rey film would take the December of 2027 window and that December 2026 will be Dave Filoni's Mandoverse movie. Imagine 2 Mandoverse movies in the same year. I think that's a bad idea. I think you should spread out these movies, allow it to be a trilogy, give them 2 years in between. I think that's the best case scenario. Do not give 2 Mando movies in the same year. At least to me, releasing 2 Mando-centered films back-to-back, I feel like would create real synergy and would be the Mandoverse equivalent to Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. I guess so, but I want it to be a trilogy more. However, I'd very much like to see that Lucasfilm try to reunite some of the stars of the sequel trilogy for the Rey film. I'd love to see John Boyega return, and hopefully they would do his character Finn justice this time around. Yes, for sure. All right, let me go to this. Why did it do that? Okay, whatever. What do you guys think? Let's read some chat here. Let's read some chat. John says 2026 could be the year of Star Wars. I think it definitely could. If you get 2 really good movies, and then we don't, of course, know what the shows are going to look like in 2026. We have no idea. Maybe Acolyte Season 2, possibly. I don't really know. And then probably some animated project that we don't even know about yet. Like, there could be some crazy stuff in 2026 and 2 movies along with it. So, for sure. Imagine... Oh, I already read that. John says, in 2025, what projects do you predict that we will get at Star Wars Celebration in Japan? Ahsoka Season 2, Andor Season 2, and that's it, right? Well, those 2 projects will be announced, probably officially, yes. But I think there'll be a lot more. I mean, those projects have been announced already. We know that Andor Season 2 and Ahsoka Season 2 are happening. But their release dates and trailers will probably be announced at Star Wars Celebration. I think there will be a lot of announcements that we don't even know exist yet at Star Wars Celebration next year. Probably an animated show, probably another movie, probably some shows that we don't even know about yet. Like, we didn't expect to get a show like Andor or even Kenobi, or even The Mandalorian when it first came out. So there's probably some other shows like that that are being worked on in the back end. Hopefully another High Republic one that goes to the beginning of the High Republic. Maybe a Dawn of the Jedi one, a show that takes place in the Dawn of the Jedi period. Who knows? I mean, we never know. I really don't. It could be anything at this point. So, I'm predicting the Mandalorian Grogu movie in December of 2025. That's definitely not the case. No. It will be May 2026. They will not add a new date to the calendar. Yeah. If John Boyega comes back, he will probably get paid more. He's technically a lot more successful after 7, 8, and 9 than Daisy Ridley has been. He would need to be the lead, though. Yeah. I don't think he'll need to be the lead. I just think that he'll have to get paid more because he's not going to want to come back. Simple as that. Like, he doesn't want to come back because he was treated so much worse than, like, Daisy Ridley was. Daisy Ridley's character is hated, but John Boyega specifically was hated a lot more through the course of the release of the sequel trilogy. So, yeah. What or who is Taika? That's a good question, Maggie. Taika Waititi is the director of the Thor Ragnarok movie and Thor Love and Thunder movie, and he's supposed to be getting a Star Wars movie as well. Hasn't really been an update lately on his movie, but it's technically supposed to still be in the works. Yeah. Austin says, me and my dad are almost done watching Clone Wars Season 4. Oh, that's awesome. Rolo says, do you think that Ahsoka Season 2 will release before the Mando movie? Yes. 100% yes. Ahsoka Season 2 will come out in 2025, and the Mando movie will come out in 2026. Yeah. The Gaming Nerd TV says, I think the documentary about The Mandalorian came out on Star Wars Day. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, yeah, you mean like the gallery stuff? I think that did, yeah. I think you're right. I think that did. So, like, the first season of The Mandalorian ended in... when did the first season end? I don't know. But the gallery episode for that on Disney Plus came out, I think, on May the 4th. I think you're right. Zap says, yeah, he would need to be a lead of the movie, not the lead, because Daisy Ridley probably will have a more significant role. But from what we know as so far, I'd assume that Rey will be the main Jedi Master. I think so too, but that doesn't mean that Finn can't be another lead right next to her. Yeah, a lead, like you said, for sure. John says, I'm down for a Taika movie. He's creative. I am too, as long as he's got like some he's got some reins on him. Like, he can go crazy. We've seen with Thor Love and Thunder, but he can be really, really good. We've seen with Thor Ragnarok. So I think since Dave Filoni has this new promotion to CCO, we'll be good. Yeah. 2029, thanks. Yeah, 2029 is when Mando Season 1 came out. I mean, 2029. 2019. 2029. Yeah. It's Me says, what are your predictions for Ahsoka Season 2? And do you think that we will see Abeloth, Luke, or Anakin? These characters are amazing. I think we'll definitely see Anakin as a Force Ghost in some sort of way in Ahsoka Season 2. Abeloth is a little bit of a mystery to me. If they're going to go the Abeloth route, I think she'll be more alluded to in Season 2, not so much seen. I think Season 2 will be a lot of exploring the Force. I think we're going to get a story of the Mortis Gods in live action told via Ahsoka, who has first hand with this, to Sabine. But you have to remember, Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars go to Mortis, but when they come back from Mortis, they don't remember anything that happened there. They don't remember, like, because Anakin sees that he's going to turn into Darth Vader there. Obi-Wan sees Qui-Gon there. They don't remember any of that stuff. So what happens is, like, they forgot all that. So what I think will happen in Ahsoka is Ahsoka will start to remember. When she sees the Mortis God statues, when she's kind of going through all this stuff, I think she will remember. Yeah. And that'll be a lot of exploring the Mortis Gods and the Force in live action. What they'll do with Balin, I don't know. Hopefully recast. What they do with Shin, I don't know. And maybe we'll even see some main galaxy stuff as well. Seeing Ezra and Hera and how they're dealing with Thrawn. Stuff like that, yeah. We could even see Thrawn rise to power in Ahsoka Season 2 as well. Yeah. Zap says, as Mike said, John Boyega has the media thinking he doesn't want to come back. Yeah, he does. Because he's been talking very publicly about how his experience was with the sequel trilogy. So, yeah. John says, I hope they set up Luke versus Snoke confrontation in Filoni's movie. I do too. I don't know if that's going to happen in the movies, though, because these movies still take place like 25 years before the sequels, so I don't think this will happen yet. But I do think Snoke versus Luke will be cool. Can I get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? Bum-ba! Still got to make a song for this thing. Where was I? Maggie says, who's Abeloth? That is a question. Good one, too. Abeloth is a very tough person to describe. So, the Mortis gods, or the father, the daughter, and the son, are the living embodiments of the Force. The daughter is the living embodiment of the light side, the son is the living embodiment of the dark, and the father is the balance between the two. Now, the mother is Abeloth, but the mother was originally a mortal being, a mortal human. But she was aging, and the daughter and the son didn't want her to age, and she went and bathed in the living waters. No, what are they called? The wells. What are they called? She went and bathed in this water that gave her the power to live forever, and a very, very, very powerful. She became a very powerful being. She became very, very evil as well. So Abeloth became this very, very powerful evil being that the Mortis gods had to imprison for the rest of her life. Then the Mortis gods die off in the Clone Wars, allowing Abeloth to sort of be free, but she's still imprisoned. But she can call out to Balin, who can come save her. That's the theory that's roaming around right now. So Abeloth is a very, 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 very powerful Force user that is pretty much the Force itself. So she could be extremely powerful and a very good villain. Yeah. Dominic says, talk about the Ones and the celestial / builders. So the Ones are the Mortis gods. They were called the Mortis gods because they were found in the Clone Wars on Mortis. Mortis is just a planet that Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and Anakin go to. So that's why they're called the Mortis gods. They are technically the Ones. They don't originate from Mortis. They actually go to Mortis after they imprison Abeloth on their home planet. So they're called the Ones. Yeah. Thanks for the good cups. I appreciate that. Oops, let me scroll back up here. John says, Luke, Leia, and Han all know who Snoke is by name, so there is some history there. Yeah, for sure. 100%. I think there is some history there, and they have to have some sort of confrontation with him. Yeah. At the same time, if they're like 20 to 25 million for John Boyega, I don't know how he could refuse that. Yeah, I don't know how he could either. That's definitely true. Zach Attack says, yeah, I think Balin knows about the Mortis gods and Abeloth, and he will be the key to bringing all that in. Yeah, for sure. The Mortis gods are dead, though, so just seeing their statues doesn't really mean much, because they are dead, but Abeloth is not. Rolo says, how many Mandoverse characters will there be in the post-sequel trilogy movies? So, like, post-sequel trilogy? That's a good question. I think a lot. So all these characters are young enough to survive that long. It's only about 26, 27 years. So Ahsoka could survive that long. Sabine could. Ezra could. Hera could. Mando could. Grogu could. Maybe even Boba could. A lot of characters really could. But that doesn't mean that they will. A lot of these characters' lives are up in the air. That's what makes this whole Mandoverse very interesting. All these characters, they could die at any moment almost. So that's what really does make it cool, for sure. But how many? I don't know. A lot. I could say a lot. But we'll see. Definitely one. And that one, if I were to guess, would be Grogu. Zap says, how much do you think they will pay John Boyega, Mike? I don't know. If they're paying Daisy Ridley 13, I'm guessing that 13 also has some percentage of revenue. Like if it makes a lot of money, then you'll get more. I'm guessing they'll pay John the same. If they tell him that. If they're like, look, we're giving Daisy this, we'll give John this as well. Probably 12 or 13, I guess. I don't know. Ian says, no one has paid any actor $25 million. That's true. That's not true, actually. They don't get that straight up, but they do get a percentage of revenue, stuff like that. So, like, Robert Downey Jr. technically got $75 million from Avengers Endgame because of the revenue aspect of it. John says, how likely is it that Luke will be in Mando Grogu movie? That will bring people to the theaters for sure. Or would it likely be saved for Filoni's movie? Yeah, I don't know how likely Luke is for the first movie, but I definitely think he will be in the movies. Yeah, I think Luke will be involved in some sort of way. It will be a driving force and driving factor for a lot of fans to get them to the movies. Yeah. Austin says, Luke and Anakin for sure. Maybe he will tell Luke to go stop Ahsoka, to go help Ahsoka and Sabine. A Luke and Anakin scene would be incredible. It would be two CGI'd versions of the characters, but it would be really, really cool. Yeah. Austin says, Anakin is the father, Ahsoka is the daughter, and Ezra or Starkiller is the son. Ezra's not dark side enough to be the son. I like the Maul theory. I forget who brought that up. It might have been actually Honey Badger. The Maul theory of Maul being the son. That would be a good one, for sure. Yeah, Starkiller's not canon, so he couldn't really be the son. Yeah. The wills are not the things that we see in the Clone Wars with Yoda. People always make that mistake. Well, Yoda goes to search for answers, and those things that we see are we're supposed to think are the wills, no? That's what I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Rolo says, did you hear about the new Thrawn comic? Yes, actually, I have an article pulled up about that. We'll get to that in a little bit. I did hear about that, Rolo. John says, Ahsoka, Mandalorian, then Kenobi for me for my top 3 shows, but Andor is a better show than Kenobi. Kenobi just hits hard for me personally because of Vader and Obi-Wan. That finale is really good. As bad as Kenobi is in the early half of the season, that finale really hits hard. It's Me says, do you think that we will see the origins of Kylo Ren and see Luke's Jedi Temple in live action? In live action is tough because you'd have to CGI or deepfake Luke and Ben Solo because Adam's a lot older now. That would be pretty tough. I think if you go to animation, do a Clone Wars type series, then it would be a lot cooler. Yeah. And maybe further down the line, like they're doing with Hayden right now, where they're giving us Hayden Clone Wars stuff, you could give us Adam Driver, Luke's Jedi Temple stuff. Yeah. Zap says, Harrison Ford got a lot for The Force Awakens, over 25 mil easily. Yeah, but again, that was probably due to the amount of money that the movie made after the fact. Maggie says, why did they make Grogu Force sensitive if he wasn't going to be a Jedi? Well, he was at the Jedi Temple originally. We see that in the flashbacks of Order 66 in The Mandalorian. So he was at the Jedi Temple at one point, but he's going to be the future. He's probably going to start a new order, something like that. Yeah. The Gaming Nerd says, fun fact, the actor who played Mandalorian plays Joel from the Last of Us HBO series. I did know that, actually. Yeah, Pedro Pascal is an incredible actor, and that's why I don't want them to mess this up and have him not want to be the Mandalorian anymore. That would be a disaster. Starkiller's not canon. People need to understand he never will be. I think he probably never will be. I agree with that because he's just too damn powerful. He's just too damn powerful. I think Kylo Ren is the son. Kylo Ren probably not the son because he turns back to the light at the end. The son is supposed to be pure dark side, the embodiment of the dark side of the Force. That's why I think Darth Maul is probably the best fit for that. Ian says, Maul, he's dead, he's dark side, and he can't be a Force ghost. Yeah, I agree. Maul's probably the best bet. What is top 5 Star Wars movies and games in order? Movies, Revenge of the Sith, Empire, Rogue One, Return of the Jedi, and A New Hope, in that order. And then games, top 5 games. I'll give you top 3. I can give you top 5. Jedi Survivor, Knights of the Old Republic, Jedi Fallen Order, Battlefront 2, and what should I put in 5? Maybe Jedi Outcast. Jedi Academy. Oh no. Fallen Jedi Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed is number 5. Cal Kestis is canon Starkiller. He kind of is. Doesn't have the same story as Starkiller, but he is very similar in sort of like just character development type, you know? Cal Kestis is a very cool character. I really, really hope Cal Kestis comes into live action very, very soon. But I don't know. We'll see. Tales of the Jedi Season 2. Maybe a young Ben Solo and a young Mace Windu. Ooh, interesting. I'd love to see young Ben Solo in Tales of the Jedi. It'd be the perfect kickoff point, too, for like a Luke Jedi Temple animated series, because that would be like the introduction to it almost. That's a good point, Austin, for sure. All right, let's get into this article too. Let's talk about these 2 things, and then we will. Yeah, let's do this. Uriel Poof and Coleman Trebor, or I Riot. Uriel Poof is actually a pretty interesting character because he's one of the only ones, other than Yoda, that is alive during the High Republic era and the Republic era. Yeah. Is it too late to bring Cal Kestis into the Mandoverse? Definitely not, Rolo. Definitely not. I think Cal Kestis is coming in the Mandoverse. Pause. I think he definitely is going to come to live action very, very soon. I think probably in Skeleton Crew. I'm still holding out hope on that one. Yeah. All right, let's read this one. Jodie Foster. Do you guys know who Jodie Foster is? Give me a 1 into the chat if you know who Jodie Foster is. Actress. You probably know it's known for like Silence of the Lambs, or she's been in so many things, like so many things. Her newest thing is going to be True Detective. She's in the newest season of True Detective. So she's a very, very big actor. She was almost Princess Leia. Let's read this. Jodie Foster confirms Princess Leia offer. She turned down Star Wars because of a Disney contract she didn't want to pull out of. So this is Jodie Foster now. She's going to be in like I said, the newest season of True Detective. Let's read. Jodie Foster has shocked the Star Wars fandom by confirming that she was offered the role of Princess Leia in Star Wars, which unquestionably would have changed the course of her career and the course of the Star Wars galaxy. The 2-time Oscar winner told Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show that she was already locked into a contract for a Disney movie at the time and didn't want to break it in order to join the galaxy far, far away. And you have to remember, she was in a contract with Disney when Disney was huge in the 70s, and Star Wars was just some indie film. So she didn't want to break a contract with Disney at the time. Foster did not reveal what Disney movie it was, but the timeline suggests that it might have been Freaky Friday, which was released a year before Star Wars. This is what she said. You've been so many iconic roles. Oh, wait, this is what Fallon said. You've been so many iconic roles, and we love what you do, Fallon said during the interview, but I saw this on the internet. You were offered the role of Princess Leia in Star Wars. Is that true? She said, I was, yes. They were going for a younger Princess Leia, but I had a conflict. I was doing a Disney movie, and I just didn't want to pull out of the Disney movie because I was already under contract. The role of Princess Leia ultimately went to Carrie Fisher, who was 19 years old. Keep this in mind. 19 years old. So was Mark Hamill. The two played 19-year-old characters, Luke and Leia, who were twins. Keep that in mind. During the filming, casting Foster in the iconic role would have changed Star Wars, as she was only 13 or 14 years old when George Lucas's original Star Wars was filming, and would have been 15 when the movie opened in theaters and became a cultural phenomenon. And they did a great job, Foster said of Fisher. I don't know how good I would have been. I might have had different hair, but I might have gone with a pineapple. Fisher would reprise Princess Leia in 4 additional Star Wars movies: Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, The Last Jedi. And then she passed away before she was able to film scenes for The Rise of Skywalker, but unreleased footage from Last Jedi set was used to include Leia in the final film. Foster had been making a press round in support of 2 new projects. She's an Oscar contender for her supporting turn in the Netflix swimming drama Nate, I don't even know, in which she stars opposing Annette Bening, sure. And she is headlining the 4th season of HBO's True Detective, like I said. So that was that. So this would have changed everything. If Leia was only 14 or 13 years old in the original movie, it would have changed absolutely everything. This would have changed the whole story of Luke and Leia's dynamic. They wouldn't have been twins if that was the case. Leia would have been younger, and that would have changed the entire prequel trilogy completely. You would have had a pretty big star. She's a big star now, but at the time she was still an up-and-coming child actor. She had been in many different things as a kid, and you would have had Jodie Foster instead of Carrie Fisher. Would have changed the entire prequel trilogy and changed the outcome of probably what the original trilogy was going to be. Now, a lot of fans think that Star Wars was a written thing from the beginning. And yes, it was. It was technically this 9-chapter epic that had to be dwindled down into a smaller story to give us one movie. But that 9-chapter epic was not the 9 chapters that you see today. Even the first 6 chapters were not the first 6 chapters that you see today. It was a completely different story. And it developed as we went along. So, when Luke kisses his sister in the first movie, it wasn't, of course, supposed to be his sister in the first movie. So, it's a little bit, or I guess the second movie, right? So, I guess it wasn't really planned out too good in the original trilogy, and maybe some sequel fans will argue that that's the case for the sequels as well. But it's a little different when the creator of the damn thing is doing it himself. But this would have been a completely different story had Jodie Foster played as a 14 or 13-year-old. Of course, Padme can't have twins and die because she'd have to have a kid and then another kid and then die. And it would have to change the whole entire outcome of the prequel trilogy and probably the whole entire outcome of the original trilogy because they probably wouldn't have been siblings. They probably wouldn't. It would have gone a completely different way. And they probably would have went the route of Leia being somebody else. Maybe a Force sensitive, but not a relative. But that's very, very interesting. You don't see stuff like that every day, that's for sure. It's weird. Ian says, does anyone not know who Jodie Foster is? You'd probably be surprised. Fearless says, isn't it strange that we never got more Kylo Ren than the movies and the comics? Yeah. I mean, Kylo Ren, I hope we get more of him, but we'll see. OgMC says, yo, you're still live? Yeah, I am. How'd is the Xbox thing is it over already? The Gaming Nerd says, which Battlefront? Because 2005 Battlefront was on the PlayStation 2, and the new Battlefront was on the PlayStation 4. Honestly, I grew up with the original Battlefront 2 on the PlayStation 2, but I have been playing the Battlefront 2 lately, actually, pretty good amount. It's pretty damn fun. It's pretty damn fun, I must say. But nostalgic reasons, I think the first one's better. Rolo says, Disney should have published George Lucas's original treatment for the sequel trilogy. Yeah, they definitely should have worked with that idea. I think a lot of fans agree, especially now since we've seen the sequel trilogy that they gave us, that we would have liked that a little bit more. OgMC says, yeah, it's over. Oh, yeah, it's over. They showed the first gameplay of the Indiana Jones game, and it looks fire. It takes place between the first and second movie. That's pretty cool. Indiana Jones is such a cool concept, and I feel like they hadn't done enough with it. Making Indiana Jones 5 probably wasn't the best bet, but yeah, video games, stuff like that for Indiana Jones would be pretty cool. I'll have to go check that trailer out after this stream, for sure. All right, let's talk about this Grand Admiral Thrawn stuff, because this is actually coming from Star Wars themselves, StarWars.com. This is a new Star Wars comic from Star Wars, so StarWars.com, and this is a Thrawn comic. So the Thrawn has a few trilogies. Thrawn has a Legends trilogy, which is the heir to the Empire one, but he also has a canon trilogy of novels. Thrawn Alliance, and Thrawn Allegiance, maybe? I forget what the third one's called. But these books are being turned into canon comics. So the same way that they're doing this with the Mandalorian show and others, they're doing it with this movie now. The Grand Admiral and Darth Vader join forces in Marvel's Thrawn Alliance's #1 exclusive preview. So, Timothy Zahn acclaimed 2018 novel Star Wars Thrawn Alliances told parallel tales of the titular Grand Admiral, one during the Clone Wars and the other in his prime during the Empire. The story will soon come to comics from Marvel, and StarWars.com has a first look for you. So this is what it will look like. Should I zoom in a little bit more? Can you guys see that? Is that better? That's better. In this exclusive preview of issue 1, the Emperor calls... it cuts off a little bit, but that's okay. The Emperor calls on Grand Admiral Thrawn and Darth Vader to eliminate a new threat on Batuu. Looks like they're bringing in Batuu. But it's not the first time either of them have been to the Outer Rim world. Thrawn Alliance is #1, written by Timothy Zahn and Jodie Hauser, and illustrated by Pat whatever and Andrea whatever. Is coming out on January 24th, so that's next week. And it's available for pre-order on digital and at your local comic shop. So this is the cover of it. Looks pretty damn cool. The Empire's greatest strategist returns. Getting the Thrawn hype up and ready to go. Here's a few pages from it. This is pretty cool. We won't read into this too much, but you got Palpatine. Looks to be the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, with Vader sitting right next to him. That's pretty cool. Damn, this is the whole comic? What the hell? Flashbacks to the Clone Wars, because it's telling from 2 points of view from the Clone Wars and stuff. Ooh. You get some Anakin and R2. That's pretty cool. So that's just a sneak peek at the comic. Are any of you guys picking up this comic? This is pretty cool. Yeah, that book is awesome. It flicks back from the Empire to the Clone Wars and to the Empire. Has Thrawn with Anakin and Thrawn with Vader, and see Thrawn figure out that Anakin is Vader and Vader is Anakin. It's pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool, if I do say so myself. Yeah. Fearless says, those books were so good. Yeah, those Thrawn novels are really, really good. If you haven't read those or even listened to them on like Audible or something, I definitely would recommend, especially the canon ones, because that story in canon is going to be probably pretty important come Thrawn's heir to the Empire reign. Yeah. All right, let's see where this poll ended up. Wow, the poll swung so much. It started with 80% of you not liking this title, all the way to 58%, and the math is not mathing, but 58% of you guys do like the title of The Mandalorian and Grogu. That's pretty interesting. I wonder if they'll keep it that way. Wow. We went over a lot today. So the Mandalorian Mandalorian movie, Mandalorian and Grogu, might be going into production a lot sooner than we expect, because it might be filming this summer. And the pre-production might have to begin very, very soon, as we might be getting some teases to it from the makeup artists on Instagram. And of course, the Rey movie debacle has been fixed. Watch out for, I'm going to make a full-on video about probably either the Jodie Foster news or the Mando's release date and the Rey movie release date stuff for tomorrow. Hopefully I can get that out by tomorrow. We'll see. I got a pretty busy day tonight and into tomorrow, so we'll figure it out. But watch out for a short later today too. John says, Star Wars Outlaws, are you pumped for that? Takes place in between episode 5 and 6. Yeah, Star Wars Outlaws I'm actually really excited for, because a lot of fans aren't. And I just think the time period of it taking place in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi is a very cool time period. You could see characters like Moff Gideon. You could see, you're going to get to see the underworld of Star Wars. Hopefully the Crimson Dawn. Hopefully Kiara. But you'll definitely see Jabba the Hutt. He's in the trailer for the game. You'll see some, probably Boba Fett, most likely at some point, and some other people like probably Bosk, probably IG-11, and just some cool bounty hunters, some cool underworld bosses and stuff like that. Like, it's gonna be a cool thing. It is open world Star Wars. How can it not get any better than that? Yeah. Rolo says 2 canon Thrawn books down, 4 to go. Comic adaptations, that is. There you go. John says, I am playing KOTOR 2 and continuing my Ahsoka rewatch tonight. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a KOTOR playthrough on the channel if we don't get a show for a while, but we'll see. Been pretty busy with all this Star Wars news anyway. And the channel continues to grow. We are coming up on 7,000 subscribers. Hopefully we can hit that this weekend. That would be insane. Cannot thank you guys enough for hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button, showing up to these live streams. I really do appreciate it a whole lot. Another huge shout out to OgMC for becoming a member at the Knight level, and Billy for rejoining at the Padawan level. Really does help in a big, big way for sure. What was your first Star Wars movie that you saw in the movie theaters? That's a good question. Actually, it was The Force Awakens. I was only 3 when Revenge of the Sith came out. Sorry, I am only 21 years old. But yeah, so it was Force Awakens. Yeah. Mine was Clone Wars in 2008. I was 7. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't see Clone Wars in the theaters. I saw episode 9 in 3D in 2012. That's pretty cool. The Gaming Nerd says, did you get my DM on Twitter? I probably did. I'll check it after the stream, for sure. I always love talking to you guys on Twitter and on Instagram stuff. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm going to get on out of here. You guys are the absolute best. Another 2-hour stream. This was a really fun one. I like talking about awesome, fun things rather than negative, bad things. So this was a really fun one. I appreciate all you guys. You guys are the absolute best. Tony says, I'm the oldest. I saw all of them when they came out. There you go, Tony. I appreciate that. Yeah. Derpy Entertainment says, it's dry out here. I need some content. My mouth is dry. I need some water. I would love to see a trailer sometime soon, Derpy, but it's definitely not dry when it comes to announcements. I mean, the Mando announcement from last week was pretty big, and the whole Rey news has kept us pretty entertained for a long, long time. But yes, I agree with you. I think we definitely need some new content ASAP. Acolyte trailer or Bad Batch trailer, I'm down for either one, for sure. It'll be a good couple months. Yeah, it will. Yeah. I can't wait. But for now, I'm going to get on out of here. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate all of you. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way out, of course, and hit that subscribe so you get notified every time I post a video. Maggie, great question. When's your next live stream? I go live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So the next live stream will be Saturday. So every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Watch out for all those. And of course, I post videos on most other days, and I post shorts every day. So watch out for those shorts as well. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives. That's not what I say right here. Why am I doing that? Guys, we got some new things here. Look at this.
Hello there.
Incorrect.
I got a bad feeling about this.
And may the force be with you. Always. Derpy says, May the 4th is the best bet for Acolyte. I think that's probably a good bet. Yeah, I think that'll be a pretty good guess. I think something big will happen on May the 4th this year for sure. 100%. All right. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, a great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.